Hey, what's up, folks? Michael here with Primal Edge, and I love being the smartest one in the room. Of course, I'm usually alone when that happens. Yep, it's 3D Thursday. Today we're making a Greek key from scratch, and we're going to take it and use it in a really awesome way, but you're going to have to wait to the end to see that. Now, I know there are a bunch of ways to do this, and you can even convert images to STLs and just import them. So why go through all the work? Well, first, you're going to learn a ton about Tinkercad, a lot of tips, tricks, tools, techniques, a bunch of stuff in here that's going to help you in your other designs. And really, it's just going to give you an overall better understanding of the 3D workspace. You'll see what I mean in a second. So I need an image for reference, and this one should work. Now, if you look close, you'll see it's really nothing more than a series of squares and lines. And we should take note of how this thing is laid out. I want my lines to be about 2 mil wide, and if you look here and count each of these parts as 2 mil, you'll see we basically have a 14 mil square. So let's go ahead and pull in a square. I'm going to make it 5 mil high, and then I'm going to make it 14 by 14 like you see here. I'm going to duplicate that using Control D, then dupe it once more, drag it over. Oops, hold on, my bad. Drag it over here, and we'll make this puppy a hole. Okay, let's adjust the view here to make things easier. Whoa. There, that's much better. Okay, now let's check out our reference image. We're going to start with this part here. We're going to create these 3 sides. So let's duplicate the hole that we made earlier, and I'm going to use the grid to keep things organized, and I want to maintain that 2 mil sizing. I'll resize the hole to accommodate what I need to remain, and then align the hole like this. Now, you might think that reducing it by 2 mil will get you that 2 mil that you need, but you have to account there are 2 sides here. So what that means is 2 on one side, 2 on the other. We're going to have to shrink this down by 4 mil altogether. This will give us 2 mil on both sides. Now we're going to align it left to right. I'm going to drag it to the top using the arrow, and I'll nudge it down by 2 using the down arrow. I'm going to select everything. Then I'm going to group it, and there we are, off to a great start. So you can see here that the right side doesn't go all the way down in our reference photo. Using that same 2 mil scale, we can see that it's up 2 rows, which means 4 mil in total. So let's go ahead and duplicate this hole. Move it up 4 mil starting from here, and cut away the extra. Perfect. Now we can start adding lines, like this one. We'll duplicate this piece and resize it, and it appears to be 2, 4, 6 mil long. Let's dupe this piece first. We'll type 6 in here, slide it into place, making sure we overlap like you see here. Moving on, we can just rinse and repeat. Now here you can see I extended the bottom line 2 mil, and this will become clear later as to why. From here we can select everything, group them together, and now go ahead and add the top and bottom lines. Starting from here, we'll go up 2 mil, got to extend it 2 mil here. Let's dupe it, drag it to the bottom, align it, and take note that the bottom lines are extended slightly. And again, this is something else that will come in handy and be clear in a little bit. Now let's go ahead and group everything together. Change the color so what we see is a bit more appealing and easier to see. Pretty cool so far. But now let's have some fun. Let's go ahead and drag in a circle. We're going to bump up the sides to the max so it's a round circle. The height, that'll work for now. Leave it here. Let's go ahead and scale down the key by half on these two sides so it fits properly. We can rotate it by 90 degrees. Align it to the workspace at 0 by hitting D. Let's go ahead and extrude this thing out a good ways. It's not too critical how much, just as long as it's larger than the circle, kind of like you see here. Drag it over. Using the align feature, we're going to do a quick XYZ align. Oops. There we go. Now we're going to use the dupe feature to do something pretty tricky. First, select and dupe the key, the Greek key that is. Then we're going to rotate it by, I don't know how many degrees yet. This is kind of trial and error. We need to test to see what's best for this scale and this design. Like I said, trial and error. You're looking for no visible gaps and no overt overlaps here. And plus, whatever that angle is, it should, if at all possible, be divisible by 360. 20, 45, 90, 60, something like that. One thing to keep in mind that if you dupe it and then change the angle and it's wrong, you've got to delete that duplication and start the process over again, selecting your object, duplicating it, and changing the angle. If you don't do this, the trick won't work. Like I said, it takes a good bit of trial and error, but this one I think will be close enough to show you what I'm talking about here. Crap. There. Perfect. Now simply use the shortcut keys Control-D, and you'll see that it's going to predict your next move. You keep doing it over and over again until you've gone full circle. Like that. Now let's move the circle and group the keys. Then we're going to realign everything. Now we're going to select and duplicate the circle. We're going to make it larger by about 2 mil. This will give us a full even 1 mil overlap around the whole perimeter of the original circle. We've got to align it first, of course. Changing the color to keep my shapes organized. Let's make the just the larger circle, the blue one, we're going to make that taller. Sink it down a little bit below the workspace. We're going to turn that into a hole. Now we're going to drag in a square. Make it larger than everything, like this. Now, selecting only the hole in the square, click one, either the hole or the square, then hit Shift and click the other object. We're going to group those two items together, like this. Now we have a hole inside the square. And the hole, if you can see here, is 1 mil larger than the original orange circle, which is exactly what we want. Now we'll turn this square into a hole. Now select the grouped keys. It's a little bit tricky, but there we go. Shift click the hole that you just created from the square. Group them. And check this out. At this point, you can have fun and do whatever you want. I made a ring for my daughter and it came out awesome. She loves it. But really, you're only limited by your imagination. Folks, hopefully the techniques I use here today may come in handy for any project that you're working on. If you found this video useful, helpful, or enjoyable on any level, hit the like button and let me know. For more 3D Thursdays as well as other maker content, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you as part of the community. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you soon.